Alright, my friends, so today we learned in our mini lessons that thoughtful readers ask questions, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of questions did we learn about today in our mini lesson, Caleb?
Yes, thin and thick questions.
Thin and thick questions. Ashley, tell me what a thin question is. Refer back to your anchor chart if you need some help.
Well, like a thick question is one that you can really have a deep conversation about, and a
Okay.
thin one is just like you can find it on the page and the conversation is over.
Right. Very good. You got that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So today I want to play a game. Today, instead of you reading to yourself and talking amongst your friends, I'm going to read to you. After I read you a question, I'm going to spin on our spin a question board, and we have how, where, what, caused, when, who, why, do you think, and what. Today I want to focus on thick questions because we did thin questions yesterday. So I want you to practice really digging deeper in the text, and we use these thick questions to better comprehend the text. When should I be using these thick and thin questioning skills though? Remind me, Ashley.
In our annotations.
Why am I using those in my annotations, Jet?
To continue our conversations and make them larger.
To make me better understand and comprehend the text on a deeper level, right? I don't just want on the surface conversation when we're doing book club. I really want smart and insightful conversation, okay? So that's when we would use our annotations. So back to our game. I'm going to spin. I'm going to tell you to do a thick question, and then you're going to write it down and we're going to confer, okay? Deal?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so chapter 13. I wonder how Katie is doing. Matt was thinking as he shook some snow from his head. I hope she's warm, and I hope she's safe. I'll never forgive myself if anything happens to her. Matt frantically looked down at his musket as he tried to figure out how to load it. His shoulders tensed as he thought of the overwhelming task before him. On turning to his friend, Matt was horrified to find Israel stooped over on the ground groaning. Israel! Matt cried, kneeling down beside him. Israel, what is it? What's wrong? But Israel didn't answer. He was on his knees, bracing himself with one hand on the ground, and with the other he reached for Matt's arm. His body suddenly went rigid as he began to violently throw up. Matt turned his head away, embarrassed and not knowing how to help his friend. So, on this page, just to model for you guys what I'm kind of wanting you to do, if I were to ask myself a thick question on this page, I would ask why his friend was sick, because the text doesn't tell us that. And I might have to read a little bit deeper and make some inferences on my own of why he was sick. Like for me, I would think maybe he has a disease, maybe he ate something bad, or maybe he got shot. So that's an example of a thick question that I would do, okay? So let's read one or two more pages. Caleb?
Sorry, I think.
Never mind?
Nothing.
Okay. We're going to read one or two more pages, and then I'm going to spin for you to do a thick question, okay? All right. When Israel finally exhausted himself, he loosened his grip on Matt's arm. Israel sank back down on the ground, trembling. He slowly lifted his head, and Matt winced at the sight of phlegm and blood dripping from Israel's mouth. Forward on! The call was given to continue the march. Matt and Henry helped Israel to his feet. He could barely stand, and moved unsteadily as he tried to put one foot in front of the other. Lean on me, Israel, Matt whispered, coming close beside him. Together, the two of them kept up the best they could. The pace was extremely slow due to the storm and the poor condition of the road. As Matt looked down, he could see the bloodied snow left by the bare feet of those who had gone before him. After what seemed like hours of marching, Matt could feel the full weight of Israel's body. He suddenly realized that Israel had given up trying to walk. Henry, help! Matt called, for he and Israel had begun to topple over. Henry reached over and grabbed Israel's arm, and together he and Matt tried dragging him along. They hadn't gone far when Israel sank to his knees again, pulling him down. Alright, so I want to stop right here because go to readers, annotate 1 to 2 every couple paragraphs, which you already know, right? So I'm going to spin for a question, and we got why. So go ahead and take 5 or 6 or 7 seconds quickly to write down a why question, okay? Just give me a thumbs up when you think you're ready to discuss. Very good. All right, Caleb, let me hear what you said about your why fit question.
Why is Why is Matt so hung up on Israel?
Okay, so tell me how that's a fit question first of all.
So first, it's a fake question because if he stopped walking altogether, you'd think that he'd stop and just give up on him. But no, he's hung up on him, and he won't stop. I bet if he I bet he could still be walking with them if Israel didn't give up.
You think so? Alright, what do you think about what Caleb said? Can you expand on that any? Do you have any inferences on an answer to his question?
I actually had, my question was similar.
Similar? Okay, let's hear your question first.
It was, why does Israel put, why does Matt call for Henry? Because, that expression, friends build each other up, not tear each other down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay.
Maybe he could, use, since if Israel is his real best friend, then he can use his, friendship power or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Help
To help him?
build him up and
Okay.
try and walk.
That's a good question, and I like your inference to your answer. Jet, did you have anything different?
I said, why did Israel pull him down with them?
Mm-hmm.
Since he could have just went down by himself, he
Right.
held on to them. Why did he do that?
Okay, so you think maybe he should have let him go, and if he was really a good friend, he wouldn't have pulled him down with him, and he would have let him march on to go fight the Hessians? Okay, Ashley, what do you think about what Jet said?
I really kind of agree with what he's saying
Mhm.
because he could have just let go and then just braced himself to fall,
Right.
but he just held on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what was your why question? Your thick why question?
My question was, why did Matt not call Henry General Henry? Because usually I was thinking that most people, there would be a general. I really don't know if he was just one of the soldiers or one of his friends or something, but I would expect him to be general.
Okay, now justify why that's a thick question. So in other words, justify would mean to explain to me why you labeled that a thick question.
Because, this is not a yes or no question.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be answered in one or two words because it has to have an explanation for it.
Very good.
So, that's really how I know if it's a thick or thin.
Good. Caleb, did you have something to add?
I have been, I know this is kind of rude, but I have an objective to the fact that that's a thick question.
Okay, let me stop you there.
Sorry.
I don't mind objections. Let's just make sure that we do it in a respectful manner to our peer, okay?
So what I thought is that they don't call him General Henry because
Mm-hmm.
he's not a real man, he's a boy. He's 13 years old, like Matt in the story. He's
Okay.
13 years old and he's a drummer for the Continental Army, so
Right.
they wouldn't call him General,
Mm-hmm.
General
Matt.
no, not Matt, Henry.
Okay, what do you have to say to that? Do you have a rebuttal, or do you want to change your thinking a little bit?
I'll change my thinking.
Okay.
Because I actually had the time to write two questions. My second question was, why did Israel have a bloody lip?
Okay, good.
I actually have something to say about Ashley's
Okay.
first one.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably a general, but maybe Matt just called him Henry because
Right.
most of the time since it was back then,
Mm-hmm.
he would have probably asked for a general or a commander in chief to help him
Good.
because regular soldiers just couldn't.
Good. So do you see how using our thick and thin questioning really deep in that conversation? We just had a whole 45-second conversation on one question, right? So that's why I want you to use those thick and thin questions while you're making your annotations. But that's all we're going to do for today. So let's make a goal to be to chapter 15 by our next book club, okay? And I want you to continue to practice those thick and thin questioning skills. Deal? Good job. Good job. Thank you. Good job. All right.